Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakahak, Radash. Double honors into the apostles, double honors into the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say shalom. And we're going to attack that statement I just said right now, all right, with truth, to prove this the fallacy and the deceit over what Esau has written down to explain what a mamzer is. So we're going to focus on deceit, mamzer, and virginity, the virgin. Just those things alone, going back into this book. It dawned on me yesterday as I was, reading it, how many lessons that I can get from this alone and edify. And it's mind-blowing. And also to prove that Esau, Edom, when the rabbis say that white Christianity, Western Christianity, European and Western Christianity, the West, it's Asaph, it's Esau, Edom, they speak the truth, 100%. They leave themselves out of the equation, but they speak the truth. And Christianity is full of deceit, always has been, all right? And we're going to expose some of that. And you have to look at what you're looking at. When this book was written, it was in 1828. Okay, I'm trying to take this a little warm. I'm trying to take this robe off. Mobility of this bad left shoulder. There we go. Had to stand up to take it off. Damn shame. Well, we need these new bodies. But this book, it tells you right there, the KJ Dictionary Bible, uncommon doctrinal thematic terms defined by Noah Webster. By Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. Okay? And so the brother Zahar, Yahweh, the water brother, he sent me some info on that book. And I went and searched it out, and there it is. Look what they want for it. And that's not even the first edition. They want $13,000 for this book. All right, which means, man, I thought that my Winston Simplified Dictionary with biblical references, encyclopedia dictionary, was a weapon. This right here, this is a damn ICBM Bible. Now check it out. Check out the first edition. So this is how you know that Esau has hid the truth. And you have to think that at the time that this Bible was printed, well, the Bible Destruction Group was in full operation, full swing. Now check out Noah Webster's 1828 first edition. $32,000, man. They want 32, and that's the full thing, and that's what they did. Because I have a 1850 Oxford Dictionary on the behind me on the shelf, and there's two editions like that too, and the writing is so little that you need a magnifying glass. So a lot of the definitions that I use to cut, to prove and reprove and rebuke, I take the magnifying glass and make it big, and then I screenshot it. All right, like Eurasia, the fact that they know that anytime the Bible was talking about woolly hair, was talking about the hair of Negroes. So when they give the description of the Lord, yeah, so disproving all whitewashed lies, that's what we're here to do. It says that that is our full, I think that's in you know what? Let me just go look for it. When I'm thinking about that, I'm gonna get another scripture, and this is 2 Ezra 6 and 27. And it reads, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched, As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that's what we're doing. We're declaring the truth with all the deceit that has been shared and pushed by Esau, Edom, the self-professed so-called white man. Now you understand, beyond a shadow of a doubt, why Teddy Roosevelt said that the full understanding of the Bible is better than any college education that you can get. And now you know why. And it truly is. Having the breakdown of the mysteries and having the understanding of the Bible far surpasses any master's degree, any PhD, by leaps and bounds. All right? Looking for a scripture real quick. Believe it's in Lord guide me. Yeah, it took me right to it. The water Yahweh Shabbat Shai. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Actually, I'm gonna start at 12. Okay. It says, further by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no such end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. So you got to be careful about going into too many books or the wrong books that actually leads you away from what the gospel says. All right. So you have to have an understanding of the scriptures before you start, picking up all these other books and stuff like that. But this is a biblical dictionary, and that's what we're dealing with. Which breaks down words in the Bible that you're actually reading, and how Esau would tell on himself. He'll try to cover things up, but then he tells on himself with other definitions, and that's going to be the lesson here. Verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. The whole duty of man is to reprove and rebuke. All right, and teach the gospel of Yahweh Shai, that the kingdom of heaven is coming, that it's at hand, and that's what we're doing. And we're tearing down all lies, all strongholds, principalities that come against the gospel of Yahweh Shai. That is our full duty, and that is what I'm doing. All right. So now that we talked this in Ecclesiastes, it talks about deceit. And this big deceit, when you go to do this, when you make a book $32,000, just who's going to buy that? All right. Who's going to buy that that's actually on the front lines doing this truth? Okay. I'm looking at the ones up ahead. I can see one for $5. Lowest, cheapest one I see is for $5. Is for $65. All right. And that's so beat up. But then you got one up above on American Dictionary, English Language, and Noah Webster's for $18.28 for $22,000. You got one for $830. That's not the first. It's a leather one, so that's a remake. So it's revised. They want only $800 for that one. Only $800. All right. Then you got one for $3,200. But this one, all right, this first edition in a leather binder. $32,000. That's mind-boggling, man. That's a down payment on a house. That's a brand new car. All right. Shoot, that some places you could buy some acres of land for that, depending on where you are. Depending on what country you go to. Shoot, you go to Thailand with that, man. You can start a whole new life. Buy a house, a car. Get you two concubines and start a whole new household for 32. But anyway. Back to the lesson at hand. So let's go to deceit before we get into the meat of this thing. With the understanding that when these Bibles and all this information that you've been watching on the screen was printed during the time of the Bible Destruction Group. So what were they doing? They were destroying the Bible, destroying the doctrine. So here's deceit. It's on page 40 of the book. Okay. And it reads, all right, a catching or ensnaring. That was dictionary number one. Number two, misleading a person, the leading of another person to believe what is false or not to believe what is true, and thus to ensnare him, fraud, fallacy, cheat, any declaration or artifice or practice which misleads another to cause him to believe what is false. Stratum, artifice intended to mislead that which is obtained. So I'm going to put this in so you can screenshot it. All right. Anyone who wants it. Okay. I'm trying to get the whole first two in there. Okay. Let's pull it back. Deceit. That's the first two. Go ahead and screenshot it if you like. Let's get the whole 3 and 4 in there now. All right. If you want to build your own receipt library, you know, get rid of some of them big booty pics and defend the gospel, man. Time for them big booties later. You're going to have plenty of wives and women when that time comes. Get all that trash out of your phone. All right. But don't give it precedence over the good stuff. How about that? All right. So that brings to mind this scripture, which is hold on, let me go to it. Let me find it. Which is another lesson. I'm going to read it anyway, but this was for, to show you that Esau, Edom is the wicked. And he is the basis of men. All right. And that he was set up to deceive. All right. And that he is the spiritual counterpart, the fleshly counterpart of Satan here on earth, the adversary. You have a right-hand side and you have a left-hand side. Okay. And the right-hand side operation are the prophets and the Israelites, the elect. The left-hand side is basically Esau, Edom, and everyone that follows them, which is the majority of the world. All right. And this is Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones. That's the Israelites and the prophets writing down the holy word. Okay. That the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and he set up over it the basis of men. I'm going to prove to you through definitions that Esau is the wicked basis of men, and that he definitely is ruling the world through these definitions. But that's another lesson. All right. So we're proving that so basically this was about the deceit. Okay. About mamzers and virgins. We're going to knock out we're going to destroy 2 false doctrines, 2 false beliefs. What that dictionary, that definition say, to believe something that is not true? Deceit. Yeah, the definition 2, the misleading of a person, the leading of another person to believe what is false or not to believe what is true, and thus to ensnare him. Fraud, fallacy. All right. That also lines up with bastard. Okay. That's one of the definitions of the word bastard. Okay. Remember how it says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod? Yeah, that's going to come out too. That was it right at 144.44. All right. It says, cheat any declaration. I just happened to look up. All right. Cheat any declaration, artifice, or practice which misleads another or cause him to believe what is false. And that is what Esau, Edom has done. All right. So we're going to go over to, quite simply, to show you exactly what I'm talking about, how they teach what is false. Let's go to the word virgin, because I have the other dictionaries on the shelf behind me that are way more detailed than this one, but a lot newer. See, this is really old. All right, but it says virgin. Okay, so I'm gonna put it in the screen and see the notes that I made next to it. Virginity. All right, a woman who has no carnal knowledge of man. Maidenhood, the state of having had no carnal knowledge. So maidenhood is basically, that's them trying to tell you, but without telling you, because that's one of the definitions of virgin, is a young maid. That don't necessarily mean that maid has never had sex before. All right, a maiden is someone, let's just, for example, on the definitions in the Young's Dictionary Bible and the definition in the Zondervan's Dictionary Bible clearly tells you a young woman, whether she's a virgin or not, whether she's had sex or not. So if you have two women, all right, you have one that's 14 or 15-year-old virgin that's untouched. And then you have another one that's an 18, 19-year-old with one or two children. All right. They both can still be the wives of one man. All right. And they're both still virgins. Because why? Because the one that has the 1-year-old and the 2-year-old. All right. So if she's 19, I mean, she started having children probably about 17. She's got a 1-year-old, 2-year-old. All right. So if she's 19 years old, she's still a virgin, according to the biblical definition of virgin. Then the other one, which is a different word, all right, for virgin, same word, different meaning, okay, meaning she's untouched. So you have to, so when it talks about damsel or maiden, you have to then determine whether this is a one who's untouched or one who actually has been. She's still of the age where she's still a maiden, where she's still a young damsel. Okay? They just like they don't give you the definition, they don't give you the breakdown that they're two sets of Gentiles. So we're talking about Esau, Edom, as the rabbis say. All right? I've seen in the last 2 months, probably about at least 20 to 25 different videos of rabbis identifying white Christianity as Asaph, as Esau, as Edom, identifying America as Edom. Okay? That's just like in the last 2 months. So Esau, Edom lies. Okay? They lie and they try to cover up the truth. Now, if you notice, it says, and we're going to expose them right now, and then this lesson will be done. So it says, see, begot, begotten, begat. Because you see my note, I wrote disingenuous definition, because it is disingenuous. All right, it's not true. So we're going to look up those words in this book. Okay. Which is going to tell you that, because let's see if Mamzer is even in here. I didn't even look that up. Let me see if it's in here. I doubt it. That's a false breakdown. See, that came much later when it's not even in here. I didn't think it would be, because the Jewish people in 1828, they were still referring to themselves as converts. All right, it wasn't until the 1860s they started saying that they were the actual, Judeans and tribes of Israel. Prior to that, they were converts, and some of their own. In fact, let me prove that now that I said it. I have some receipts. So when you're going to say anything that could be controversial, you have to, it's best to come with receipts. All right. And the beauty of it is that these receipts come from their own sources. These are from Jewish sources. That's what makes it so powerful. These are from their own scholars and rabbis. The same ones that are telling you that white Christianity is Asaph, is Esau, is Edom. Okay? So let's go to my receipt folder. And yeah, here we go. All right. It says the Edomite Jews, Jewish is what it should be called, began to call themselves Hebrews and Israelites in 1860. Encyclopedia Judaica, 1971, volume 10 and chapter 23. All right. Esau Edom is modern Jewry, 1925, Jewish Encyclopedia, volume 5, page 41. They are not of Israel or Judah. And that is 100% truth. So that's from their own sources, from their own information, which they tend to ignore, which Vocab Malone, with his lying ass, tends to ignore. All right. Big time ignore. All right. So let's go ahead and put an end to this lie, to this madness. Okay. So a mamzer and a virgin, according to Christianity. All right. So begot, to procreate. All right. See genealogy. It starts at the bottom of the page of 15. So at the top, all right, beget, to procreate, to generate, all right. It says see progenitor, begotten, all right, procreate, generated. So in Matthew 1:1, let's go to Matthew real quick. It gives you the bloodline of Yahushai. All right. Matthew 1:1. It says, and Abraham begat Isaac. Okay. And Isaac begat Jacob. And Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. Okay. Now this proves 100% that you come from your father, first of all. Now, when you go back to Jacob, all right, the 12 tribes of Israel came out of 4 different women that are not Israelites. If the mamzer doctrine that they teach were true, there would be no Israelites, because you would determine Jacob's 12 sons and his 1 daughter as what their mothers are, and their mothers were not. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. His son became the Israelites. So this completely annihilates the retardation of the mamzer belief. Okay? To begot. Okay, now let's put, and as you read down, it gives you all the way down to Joseph, who begotten Yahushai from Mary. Okay, now Mary was an Israelite too, so but nevertheless, you come forth out of your father's loins. One of my favorite scriptures on that matter is in the book of Kings, when the Lord is speaking to King David. All right. And remember, there are also laws in the Bible when the Israelites went to war on how they would destroy certain nations. And there was also laws on how they would treat captured, conquered people and concubines. When it's, I think there's Deuteronomy 22. They say if you see a woman among the conquered, all right, that you desire, and how you take her to be your own. So she's a concubine, and that definition is in this Bible, and it tells you she's a lesser wife. It tells you that. Then another breakdown that tells you she's a whore. It didn't say nothing about whore in the actual definition, because it's something. No, in the definition whore, it puts concubine in there. Concubine is not a whore. All right, a concubine is if she's your wife, she's your wife. A whore is one that's screwing everybody. She's your concubine. How can she be your wife and a whore at the same time? You see what I mean? Deceit. Lies. Okay? But, yeah, it's in Kings what I was looking for. I think it's 1 Kings 19, I think. Maybe 2 Kings. I'll find it. Just give me a second. Just bear with me a few moments. You know, that saying that we have, everyone's a Christian until the scriptures come out. No, it's not 2 Kings. It must be first. Yep, it's 1 Kings 22. And no. That's a different Salakia. That's not it. Okay, let's do it this way. Uh, 8 and 19, Salakia. Okay, this is 1 Kings 8 and 19. All right, point is in 20. No, it's in 19. Nevertheless, thou shalt not build the house, but thy son shall come forth out of thy, but thy son that shall come forth out of thy loins shall build the house unto my name. All right. So it's making it clear, because, you know, you have this doctrine, you know, my mama. You do not come from your mother. You come from your father. Your father puts you into your mother's womb. You came out of your father's loins. In layman terms, you came out of your father's nutsack. That's the seed line. That's how you be got. And that determines your race. All right. It is regardless. You know, your mother's nationality has nothing to do with your race, with your nationality. Absolutely nothing at all. You are 100% whatever your father is. So Candace Owens, per example, just had another baby. She had an attractive little light brown baby. All right. Despite the fact that child is melanated, that child is just a melanated, chocolate-covered Edomite. Her husband is Esau Edom. There's no chance that he's Jacob, his spirit. Okay. So Candace Owens, and like many other so-called black women, have chocolate-covered Edomites. All right? The same way that a lot of Jakes, a couple videos hot right now with the Edomite girls or Edomite in appearance, telling you about their black daddies or their father's father, who was also a so-called black man, or their great-grandfather, who was a so-called black man on their father's side. That means from their grandfather on down, everybody that came from his seed, all right? So any sons he had and any sons that his sons had, their children are Israelites. Vanilla covered, Israelites. Well, vanilla is really brown, very dark. But you know what I'm saying. Okay? So now it said, when we were looking at begot and begotten, I had look up progenitor and I had look up genealogy. So let's look up those last two words and shut it down. So already the whole retardation, somebody gonna fix their lips to say it, of Mamzer. This has been absolutely destroyed. And this also shows you that Esau knows, just like he knows that he's the wicked. And we're going to prove that in the next video, Lord's will, using this book just through the definitions that he wrote about the wicked. Okay. So we're looking for genealogy. Yeah. EFG. So, and progenitor. And its connection to begot. It told you, you know. Genealogy. Let's bring it in the screen. Get your cameras ready. Get your phone ready so you can screenshot it. All right. Oh, yeah, we got kinsman and stock in there too. Yeah. But genealogy, an account or a history of a descent of a person, family from an ancestor, not just an ancestor, but through your father, not through your mother. All right. The enumeration of ancestors and their children in the natural order of succession, pedigree, lineage. That's through your dad, through the nutsack, not the mom. All right. That's the term, the family jewels. Pedigree, lineage, regular descent of a person, family from a progenitor, begot. All right. Remember what begot said. Let's go back in case you forgot that quick. Shut up the retardation of the mamzer people who like to spew out that nonsense. It's gonna make them look real stupid saying it now. We're doing it right now, showing you how unlearned they are. All right, progenitor. All right, begot. All right, to procreate, to generate, begotten, generated. Okay, so Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob and Esau. Esau was put by. Okay, so that was genealogy. Now we're going to go to progenitor and close the book on them. Drop the microphone. I thoroughly enjoyed this lesson. I must admit. It's going to be funny to see what they have to say about this one. They might find a way to give me a strike on this one. Because they definitely don't want true information coming out. Ooh, precept. I forget. Ooh, we predestinated. Man, this fool Esau tore his ass making this book. Progenitor. Page 144. All right. Progenitor. An ancestor. Indirect line of forefather. Hey, so with that, I'm going to give all praise, all honor and glory unto Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.